It's current, informative, educational, and it deals with the issues. It's Teacher's Time.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to one of your favorite Sunday afternoon educational programs, Teacher's Time, for today, Sunday, March 2. I am Leon Nash. In the program today, you will be hearing from our JTA President, Dr. Mark Smith, and Education International Go Public Fund Education Campaign Manager, Angelo Gavriliatos. Of course, we'll also be presenting your package of news and views supported by the JTA with the theme Unite and Serve, and the JTA Cooperative Credit Union Limited with its mantra, serving our members, impacting lives positively. We return right after this 30-second commercial break.
Are you employed in the education sector but not yet a member of the JTA Co-op Credit Union? Join our family today and benefit from high returns on your savings, freedom from excessive fees and hidden charges, and the benefit of being a part owner of an award-winning credit union. At the JTA Co-op Credit Union, you're not just a member, you are family.
Welcome back. This is Teacher's Time on your Radio Jamaica 94 FM. It's now time for Conversation with our JTA President. But first, this.
Welcome to Conversation with the JTA President from the President's Desk. Conversation with the JTA President is aired at least once every month right here in Teacher's Time. It focuses on current and ongoing issues affecting teachers and education. The current JTA President is
Dr. Mark Smith. Good afternoon, Dr. Smith, and welcome to this conversation.
Good afternoon, Sir Nash, and saying hello to all our teachers across the island.
Today we are looking at so many different things that impact education.
Just before I get into that, I just want to take the opportunity to thank all our teachers across the length and breadth of this amazing island for their extraordinary work, dedication, and commitment, not only to uplifting and adding value to every single student across the island, but also in their commitment to being able to move this country forward in a meaningful way. We thank you as a nation for your sacrifice and for your commitment to the cause. Last week was a quite eventful one. It was one in which we had to flex our proverbial muscles as a union because we thought that the Ministry of Education had reneged on commitments that they had made. And what has happened is that there's a general displeasure that we as a union had encountered or were experiencing due to the non-payment of graduate allowance in the first instance. So that is one of the big headline incidents that occurred last week. And also the non-payment of retroactive mileage allowance from April to November of 2022. Added to that was what I consider the slow pace of the salary negotiation for the 2025-2028 period. The JTA is unapologetic in its stance towards agitating and advocating for the resolution of the outstanding matters while pressing ahead with the salary negotiations that we believe must be expedited so that we can move on with focusing on the business of educating our children.
So the JTA heard of these complaints from the teachers and intervened in the matter. It was the JTA's threat of action that caused a resolution.
Well, absolutely. What would have happened is that this would have been a situation that initially found its genesis in a memo that was sent out from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service in August. We quickly engaged the Ministry of Education, and in several meetings we spoke about this, and we were assured that it would not have been actioned. In fact, it was set to be actioned in September. And we kept on agitating for clarity on the matter. We were advised that there would be no funds taken from the teachers. And then all of a sudden, we realized that we were here. In fact, the Ministry of Education said that it was something sent from the Ministry of Finance and that they needed clarity on the matter. And so we were very disappointed when we started getting calls at the end of the month saying that people were seeing short payment in their salaries. And that is what prompted us to take what I consider necessary action to ensure that not one single teacher is disenfranchised. And I appeal to teachers that if you note there's any shortage in your pay, you are a member of the association, to please contact your regional officer as a point of contact. It is important. We cannot allow, there is no way we can afford to have teachers not receiving their full salary. And so where there is a discrepancy in your salary, I appeal to you not to sit and to accept it, but to seek a regional officer for us to do the requisite investigations and the relevant advocacy.
30 seconds to those who are still sitting on the fence.
Let me tell you something. There must be only two types of teachers in Jamaica: those who are a member of the JTA and those who are about to become members of the JTA. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. President, thank you so much for that. Now, quickly deal with another issue or issues.
One of the serious concerns that we still have is the lack of investment in education. And in a recent visit to Calgary in Canada, I managed to bring together the president of I managed to bring together some of the leadership of Education International, and we were able to agree on what I believe will be a campaign focused on boosting public education funding for schools. This is a critical and a strategic move by the JTA. It has brought on the requisite technical talent from overseas. Education International has extensive expertise in helping to craft and develop campaigns around the need for countries to invest in their human capital. And so it is important that teachers get involved in this campaign. It is not only something for teachers, it is also something for the wider citizenry of Jamaica, for us to understand that there is no version of a successful, economically viable Jamaica that does not have education as the driving force behind that economic development. And so I implore our business leaders, I implore civic society, I implore members within the civil service and the government to get on board. We have to invest, and the best time to invest in education is now. All right, and so that is my call to the nation. This is a movement towards finally making the pivotal shift towards improving funding that will be ensure that we are able to safeguard the country's future. On March 21st to 22nd, we'll be having a press conference and a series of meetings that will be aiming to launch this public funding campaign. And it is for education. It is so important that we all get on board. I look forward to you all tuning in and being a part of this national movement towards changing the trajectory of funding in Jamaica's education system.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for joining us again another month.
Thanks again for having me. And of course, I wish all our teachers an amazing week.
That was Dr. Mark Smith, JTA President. We are not done, as we do have another notable gentleman joining us at this time. He is the campaign manager of Education International's Go Public Fund Education Initiative, Angelo Gabrielatos. Good afternoon, Angelo. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and I extend to you greetings from Accra in Ghana, where I'm currently working with our member organisations in Ghana, but importantly also with our colleagues from the Africa Regional Office, as we continue to build this global campaign aimed at focusing on the need for greater investment in teachers and greater investment in education.
Why this focus at this time in terms of global funding of education?
Because there's a crisis that is now manifesting itself in a teacher shortage, the likes of which we have never ever experienced before in our lifetimes. UNESCO, the global organisation UNESCO, has estimated that we will need a further 44 million teachers by the end of this decade, and that will require a massive effort of investment in teachers to ensure that we keep the ones we have, and in order to ensure that we train the ones we need in order to provide quality public education for all students. 44 million teacher shortage globally, and regrettably it impacts every part of the world, including the Caribbean.
And what's EI's purpose? The Jamaica Teachers Association in particular here and the other unions throughout the Caribbean are members of Education International. What do you hope to achieve in these territories through this campaign?
Well, Education International is the global voice of teachers and other education workers. Education International speaks on behalf of 33 million teachers and other education workers across 180 countries. And you've rightly identified the Jamaica Teachers Association is one of the member organisations in one of those 180 countries around the world. Education International has determined that this campaign is our flagship campaign. It's the most important campaign because there is nothing more important than ensuring a qualified teacher in every classroom, every day, every lesson for every child. This shortage, as I said, is greater than we've ever experienced. It's more acute than we've ever experienced before in our lifetime. Regrettably, governments and intergovernmental organisations had been warned some time ago. If you continue down the path of austerity measures, cutting education budgets, if you continue down the path of not valuing teachers, there will be consequences. And here we are today living those consequences of 44 million teacher shortage around the world.
Okay, so you're going to be here in Jamaica in March.
That's correct, on the 21st and 22nd of March, but I'm certainly looking forward to being there, working with our member organisations so we can build the strength required, the movement required to convince every government around the world to invest in teachers and invest in education. There's nothing more important than a qualified teacher in front of every classroom. And as we know from research around the world, without a strong supply, without a good supply of well-prepared, well-supported teachers, nothing in education can work.
EI does not fund or provide any kind of funding to member countries, but you've got a strong voice connected to people like the International Monetary Fund. Coming to Jamaica, you're expecting to meet with whom other than the JTA?
Well, I certainly made it to the JTA leadership that I'm available to meet with the Minister and other senior officials in order to talk about the importance of this campaign, in order to talk about the importance of investing in teachers and investing in education. As you rightly said, Education International connects with a whole series of global actors, including the United Nations, including UNESCO, including the International Labour Organization, ILO, and also engages with the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Global Partnership for Education, where we express very strong views about the need to invest in teachers and education. I come 12 months following the release of a very important report, a report that was commissioned by the Secretary General of the United Nations, a report which was put together by the United Nations high-level panel on the teaching profession. He brought together a number of experts, former heads of states, ministers, and other experts to investigate this very issue of the global teacher shortage. And that report, released about 12 months ago, contains 59 recommendations that offer a framework, a blueprint for the change needed if we are to attract and retain the teachers we need and our students deserve. So I'll be talking about all those issues, and again, hopefully, also with policymakers in Jamaica emphasising the importance of addressing the global teacher shortage.
All right, what do you hope to achieve at the end of this consultation?
Well, what we do in every country where we work with our member organisations is contribute to the development of a national action plan. A national action plan that can be followed, developed and implemented by member organisations in order to pursue the goal of greater investment in teachers and greater investment in education.
That was campaign manager of Education International's Go Public Fund Education Initiative, Angelo Gavrelatos.
It's time for News and Views.
Colleagues, the preliminary games in the JTA Errol Miller Cricket Competition have been completed. The semi-final games are scheduled for the 14th of March, with the finals set for March 20. And finally, coming up in Teachers' Time, Sunday, March 9, 2025. Join us as we talk to the JTA Cooperative Credit Union about the mortgage loan, how members can access it, and the benefits you can accrue. Yes, it will be a feature of our next Teachers' Time program, Sunday, March 9. Yes, 50 minutes long, and it will be only available on this station, Radio Jamaica 94 FM.
That was News and Views.
Colleagues, it was a pleasure sharing with you. Let me also extend thanks to studio engineer Charles Lanneman for assisting with the program. Before we go, here is our usual motivational and encouraging thought for this week. Carrie Meehan says, "The influence of a good teacher can never be erased." I'm Leon Nash, wishing for you and yours a good rest of the afternoon, a wonderful week ahead, and of course, see you back here soon.
That was Teachers' Time, brought to you by the Jamaica Teachers Association, Unite and Serve, and the JTA Cooperative Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively.